The magic of FA Cup is back with mouth-watering ties as the Premier League and Championship clubs enter the competition in the third round. KBC Channel 1 will ensure you don't miss out, live and exclusive on your True Sports partner from the 8th to 11th of January 2021 as we kickstart the new year with you in mind. Save the dates for the best and route to the finals.
And we stay dedicated to inform you on the latest developments in your country and beyond borders. Today, as schools reopened their gates for learners after the long COVID-19 break, our reporters traversed different parts of the country to bring you details about the twists and turns of the cautious reopening of schools in observance of the COVID-19 protocols. We'll be giving you those details about the news, plus others that we have contained in our comprehensive news bulletin beginning right now. Welcome on board. My name is Serfine Achieng Ouma and our sign language interpreter is Susan Thuku. But first, here are the highlights.
Top on Channel 1 News Hour. It's back to learning. Public schools flooded with pupils as classes resume after 9 months of coronavirus disruption. Left alone, governors from Mount Kenya criticize Murang'a Senator Irungu Kang'ata for his remarks on BBI's unpopularity in the region. And it's time to say goodbye. John Cardinal Njue retires as Archbishop of Nairobi Catholic Diocese after attaining 75 years.
And we welcome you to be part of this broadcast at KBC Channel 1. That is our social media platform. We are streaming this live for you on Facebook and on YouTube. Remember, you can also share with us your thoughts as we continue to bring you the day's coverage of the events that happened. Now, we begin straight away with our top story. Education Cabinet Secretary Professor George Magoha has cautioned against admissions in schools that are already overcrowded. Magoha says parents looking for admissions in public schools should liaise with sub-county directors of education for guidance. The CS was speaking at Olympic Primary in Kibra that is already overcrowded and shall not be allowing any more pupils, even as parents camped at the gate seeking admission for their children. Have a look.
Early Monday morning, Education Cabinet Secretary Professor George Magoha paid a visit to Olympic Primary School in Kibra. And just like many other public primary schools, social distancing is still a mirage. 2 to 3 pupils sharing a desk.
Apart from overcrowding, everything else is normal. Every child is properly masked. Most of those masks they are wearing were provided by the government of the Republic of Kenya, together with our collaborators. I am going to pick some of the desks which were ready, which were meant for another school, which may not be having a very tight problem like this. 70 of them will be here today.
The school is the largest public primary school with a total of 4,700 pupils accommodated in 52 classrooms and is already crowded.
This school will not be available because you can see for yourself that it's 7,000, it's 4,700. So this one, even though it is popular, it's not likely that they'll take many children. There are many other schools around that we will make sure.
But CS Magoha's declaration may have come as bad news to a number of parents seeking to secure admission at the school. Janet Achieng says her 2 children, grade 1 and class 6, were previously enrolled in a private school, but she can no longer sustain the expenses.
Pesa yenye nilikuwa na nimeshughulikia na uniform na nimetumia kununua books na uniform. Sasa itanishinda. Wakisema imejaa itabidi wakae kwa nyumba.
Another group of parents, however, wanted to be given access to the classrooms, expressing fears of overcrowded rooms.
Kuna wasiwasi manake hapa kwa Olympic Primary sahii wanataka kuanza admission na watoto watakuwa wengi zaidi.
Niko na wasiwasi juu watoto wetu mmesema kuna ugonjwa tutawanaka aje na vile wako wengi.
To cater for the increased population, the ministry is planning to avail 140 more desks to ensure pupils are far apart. But the Ministry of Education says parents seeking admissions in public schools should seek help with sub-county directors of education.
We are trying to avoid a situation where a popular school like this one is overrun by children so that some of them can sit down. So you don't have to worry unless you have a specific case. If you give us details, we shall go to where the rubber meets the ground.
Kamche Menza for Channel 1 News.
Thank you, Kamche, for that report. Staying on matters education, the closure of a section of private schools in Nairobi's Kasarani area has led to the influx of learners at Mwiki Primary School that is stretched beyond limit. The only public school within the densely populated area sits on barely an acre piece of land and already caters for over 3,600 pupils. Parents with pupils in the school now fear for the worst, as many more are already knocking on the gates seeking admissions for their children.
The populated Mwiki Primary School in Kasarani area trying to cope with an influx of pupils. For the school, with an initial population of 3,600 learners, social distancing is a mirage. A classroom in the school built on less than an acre piece of land hosts 100 pupils in the minimum, with 3 learners occupying a desk meant for 2 pupils. As if this is not enough, a number of parents flock the school's entrance seeking admission for their children from neighboring private primary schools that have closed shop are overwhelming. A section of private primary schools in Kasarani area closed shops after the indefinite closure of learning institutions in mid-March 2019 when the country confirmed its first COVID-19 case.
Private schools iko na ngumu kwa sababu wameongeza bei na kazi tulifutwa wakati wa corona venye iliingia, tulisimamishwa kazi, siko kazi, niko na mtoto secondary school. Kwa hivyo nikaona mmoja nimlete hapa ndio niweze kulipia huyo ako secondary school.
Nasomesha mtoto wangu Brainstorm. Shule iko hapo karibu na Dio. Na kwa saa hii hiyo shule ilifungwa juu ya corona. Sasa tulikuwa tumekuja hapa shule ya Mweki kuleta watoto wetu hapa ndio waadmitiwe. Wazazi wamekuwa na shida sana. Kama hapa Mweki tumerudi na watoto, tutapeleka watoto wapi? Sasa hizi itabidi tu watoto tukae nao kwa nyumba mpaka hii maneno ikuwe mzuri.
Unajaribu kujiinua, unakuta umeanguka tena. Sasa hata school fees hatuwezi, ndio tunakimbilia hii ya serikali.
Out of 49 private schools in Kasarani, only 10 institutions reopened its doors following the full reopening of schools in the country. Kiambu Regional Commissioner Wilson Wanyanga says the government will ensure smooth learning exercise for learners and tutors.
very many washing points, specifically 113 washing points. They have sanitizers, and the teachers have been sensitized so that they'll be able to guide the pupils as they can.
The schools have reopened for yet another academic term. The Ministry of Education says it's putting its efforts together to ensure smooth learning exercise. And as classes begin, social distancing remains a challenge that can only be guided by time. Irene Mchuma Odim, Channel 1 in the county of Kiambu.
Now, moving on, it was a busy start at most primary and secondary schools with the resumption of learning, with teachers and schools managements ensuring that the institutions followed to the letter the laid down COVID-19 protocols. A spot check at learning centers in various counties established that pupils and students reported in droves to begin their second term after a break of the 10 months occasioned by the COVID-19 pandemic.
Schools across the country were bustling with activities Monday, with COVID-19 precautionary measures characterizing the resumption of learning after a long break since March last year. In Nakuru County, learners reported back as expected, with school management putting up control measures to ensure that learners are not infected upon resuming their studies.
Tumehakikisha ya kwamba tumeongeza madawati, tumeongeza madarasa, ndio angalau kila darasa liwe na madawati kama madawati 20 na wanafunzi 20 pia.
Parents expressed satisfaction at measures put in place to protect learners from infection and exuded hope at a meaningful second term for teachers and students in schools.
Naona wamejiandaa vile inatakikana, tumenao kwa gate, tumepimwa temperature. Sasa nimeleta mtoto nikiwa na matumaini atasoma vizuri.
In Kericho County, private schools appeal to the national government to assist them with little funding to cope up with the challenges caused by COVID-19 pandemic as the schools reopen.
Kitu naomba serikali tusaidie sana kutupea pesa kidogo yenye itatusaidia kuongeza ile kidogo yenye tumeshaweka.
In Samburu County, some schools are yet to comply fully with Ministry of Health guidelines to prevent spread of COVID-19 among pupils. For example, Maralal DEB Primary School had only one empty 250-litre tank fitted with 4 taps to serve a population of more than 1,000 pupils.
Ni rahisi sana serikali ikiwa na nia ya kutaka wanafunzi wapate maji. Tuko na jeshi ambayo wako na marori ya kutoboa maji. Tuko na NYS. Serikali inaweza angalia kwa upande huo, ihakikishe ya kwamba NYS na hata ni jeshi na pande zingine iweze kusaidia kudrill, kuwe ati ni sheria ya kwamba kila shule inafaa kuwa na borehole yake.
However, the script was different in Laikipia County as Nanyuki High School is facing challenges with the Form 1 block, the 200 capacity block not being used for fear of collapsing. The school principal, Oliver Minishi, said that he has tried to reach out to the Ministry of Education as well as the county government of Laikipia for assistance, but that has been futile.
We have had a problem because it has been showing signs of collapsing. We require a lot of money to do the renovations and even to repair that block.
Elsewhere, Nyandarua County Education Board has exuded confidence that more than 800 schoolgirls who became pregnant during COVID-19 break will report back.
Wanafunzi wote wenye walipata mimba kama County Education Board na kama serikali ya county tunasisitiza wanafunzi warudi shule.
In Turkana County, there was low turnout of learners with most schools even recording zero attendance.
Sasa hivi wanafunzi karibu 327 ndio wamekuja na idadi yote ya wanafunzi ni 1238.
Suleimanieri, Channel 1 News.
And now, how exactly was the transport situation today? Monday's reopening of schools was characterized by a low number of learners traveling to various schools. It was expected that students would throng bus termini as they traveled back to their respective schools, but a spot check by KBC Channel 1 revealed low turnout of learners. Most schools have slated Tuesday and Wednesday as their opening day. Weekly Fokich reports.
Being the first day of schools reopening after close to 9 months of closure, it had been expected that learners would throng various bus stations to travel to their respective schools. However, a low number of learners, some accompanied by their parents, was witnessed at the various bus stations we visited, more so at the Tea Room and Machakos bus terminal. Operators attributing this development to unpreparedness by both learners and their parents for the return to schools.
Wanafunzi tunawangojea lakini hatuoni. Sijui watafungua shule tarehe ngapi. Tulikuwa tunajiandaa leo na leo hakuna wanafunzi, ni wachache sana.
Kuko na wanafunzi wengi sana hawakurudi shule. Most of them nafikiri wameachwa nyumbani according to vile maneno iko.
The operators are also taking the COVID-19 health protocol seriously, having placed water points at strategic places for hand washing and requiring every passenger to wear a mask.
Masharti ya COVID-19 ziko kama kawaida, zinaingia kwa gari inabeba capacity, wanaosha mkono, watoto wote wamevaa mask.
The operators insinuated that movement among learners is expected to increase starting tomorrow. Bus fares have been increased slightly, but against the advisory by the government, as had been revealed by the Transport Cabinet Secretary during the Sunday's inter-ministry briefing.
Nauri hatukuongeza sana, tumeongeza na 1% kulingana na social distance na ile mkazi iko.
Kawaida fare na kuaga tao ama 12. Kini sasa hii tumechukua 13, 12.
The few learners who showed up at the terminal said the fares were beyond the normal amounts usually charged for the same routes. The learners, however, were happy that they would arrive in school in time to prepare for the commencement of learning.
Matarajio yangu ni madarasa yameongezwa ama pia desk ziwe zimeongezwa mingi na.
Mimi natarajia tu cope na environment haraka sijui hadi COVID-19 ndio tupeleka aje.
The same script resonating in Eldoret, with passengers traveling to Nairobi stranded at most bus stations due to hiked fares and few vehicles.
The situation is very wanting because we are here. We came here at around 6. There are some people who came here at around 2, though they have left, but they left late than expected.
Meanwhile, the Kenya Railways Corporation has expanded its services in efforts to facilitate movement of learners amid schools reopening. In a statement, the rail service operator said it had added another passenger train on the Nairobi-Mombasa rail line, which will depart both termini at 9 p.m. and will make stopovers at intermediate stations. This, in addition to the intra-city commuter rail service, which commenced service today after the festive season. Wycliffe Okech, Channel 1 News.
And now let me take you back to Kiambu County. Still on matters education, there was drama at one of the primary schools in Juja, Kiambu County, Monday morning after parents, teachers and a section of leaders were forced to break into newly built classrooms to pave way for learners. It is reported that the classrooms had been under lock and key after the county government failed to clear bills with the contractor. However, angry parents could not come to terms with the situation as a section of pupils conducted their classes under scorching sun as schools struggled to meet the social distancing requirement. Kamche Menza reports.
It was business unusual at Ruri Primary School in Theta Ward, Juja, Kiambu County, Monday morning. While learning was ongoing in other schools, parents, teachers and a section of local leaders here were first forced to join hands to break the doors of 2 classrooms to enable learners gain access to the rooms.
Tumefurahi sana, tumefunguliwa darasa, zilikuwa zimefungwa hapo juu ya shida ya kuwa contractor hajalipwa. Hata zenye hizo zingine deski ni ndogo, kama wanaweza tuongezea deski tunaweza furahia.
Hata mtoto yangu hapa kuanza shule, sasa tukakuta watoto wamesomea nje, wako nje na iko darasa 2 hapa na imemalizika na kuna nini na imefungwa.
All along, a section of pupils had been forced to conduct their learning under the scorching sun as the school struggled to attain the social distancing requirement. The classrooms are said to have been locked by the contractor after the county government failed to settle some pending bills since 2018.
Utakuja kuona kwamba katika darasa moja tuko na zaidi ya watoto 120.
na hao ni watoto wengi sana kiasi kwamba hata mwalimu akitaka tu kukuze yule kwa nyuma hawezi kumpata. Kwa hivyo imetubidi hata kugawa madarasa mengine kwa bao ili mwalimu aweze kuwa na watoto kama 80 upande mmoja na mwingine 80 upande ule mwingine.
The irate parents could not watch their children suffer. The Taward MCA Simon Kuria said his earlier pleas with the county government to clear the bills fell on deaf ears.
Siku ya leo mimi mwenyewe kama MCA wa area hii pamoja na wazazi pamoja na watoto wetu tumeweza kufunja hizo milango tukijua ya kwamba contractor ataenda kotini, tutaweza kustakiwa, lakini tukasema ya kwamba ni heri tustakiwe na watoto wetu wakae vizuri.
The school has a population of 1,080 pupils. Kamchemenza for Channel 1 News.
And we do not take your viewership for granted. Onyango Weekly from Kisii, Isaac Kipchumba from Eldoret, Mashi Tom from Mwanza, Tanzania, Siaki Tobi, you're watching us from Namanje, Brian Gishana, you're watching us from Keroka, this is in Kisii, Timothy Muyeko from Malava, Judith Nyango, Wada Ella, you're tuned in, Nati Stevo from Mombasa, Mark Macau from Nairobi's Eastleigh area. We appreciate you. Please stay with us. We are just going to be taking a very short break. We are coming back with much more.
Muone Faisal ndio huyu aliwekelea bid ya TV na ndio hii anaenda nayo. Faisal, hebu tuambie ni vipi uliwekelea bid?
Nilienda kwenye website ya QuickBid. Nikatizama nikachagua kuwekelea kwenye TV. Sasa niliwekelea mara 3. Nikaja kwa mshindi, nikakutana bid yenye imenifanya kwa niko mshindi ilikuwa ni 168. Sasa leo nimekaitwa nikaja nichukue TV yangu.
Haya Faisal, mali yako tukusaidie. Asante.
Jiunga na QuickBid ni rahisi. Enda kwenye M-Pesa, bonyeza paybill kisha weka business number 4032353. Kwenye account weka kodi ya bidhaa unayotaka na bid yako ya chini zaidi. Kwa mfano TV 16, kisha weka shilingi 20 tu kama idadi yako. Weka bid yako pia kwenye www.quickbid.co.ke. Kumbuka, bid ya chini zaidi ya kipekee ndio ununua. QuickBid, bidhaa bora kwa bei ya chini.
Get ready for a 3 weeks Africa Football Feast as the new year kicks off with the 6th edition of the Africa Nations Championship in Cameroon. From the 16th of January to the 7th of February 2021, 16 teams from the continent will be spread across 3 cities as the best players from domestic leagues showcase their talents live on KBC Channel 1. Let's support our own.
Welcome back, and now we want to focus on matters politics. Governors from the Mount Kenya region have hit out at Murang'a Senator Irungu Kang'ata following his assessment of the Building Bridges initiative in the region. The 10 governors drawn from the Central Region Economic Bloc termed Kang'ata's claims as personal, accusing him of seeking cheap publicity. The governors wondered why Kang'ata chose the path he took, yet he has unfettered access to the head of state, being a leader in the Senate. The letter by Murang'a Senator Irungu Kang'ata, dated 30th December 2020, claims that the BBI referendum push might fail in the Mount Kenya region unless President Uhuru Kenyatta takes personal charge. It is his opinion letter that has rattled governors in the region, the leaders accusing the Senate Chief Whip of what they term as breach of protocol in addressing the president.
Kuna mwenzetu jana ameandika barua na anakuana na rais kila siku. Anaandikia rais, namwambia mimi sijui nitafanya nini, nimeshindwa kuongea na watu, nimeshindwa kuambia nini, rais wewe kuja tusaidie. And you have been given a leadership position.
In a statement, the leaders argue that it is too early to poke holes into the BBI Constitution Amendment Bill, instead calling on the need for all leaders to spearhead public awareness discussions to educate the public about its contents.
Kama mimi ningekuja hapa Limuru nianza kuuliza sasa mimi nitafanya nini kwa sababu mimi naona hamutaki BBI, sijui hamutaki nini, I will have failed in my duty. It is my duty, jukumu langu kuja niwaambie ni nini kizuri katika BBI. Mimi mwenyewe sitapiga kura yako na ule mwingine hatapiga yako, lakini ukienda nyumbani, mawazo yako ya kuelekeshe mahali unafikiria vizazi vijavyo vitasaidika.
They have wished away allegations that the Mount Kenya region is opposed to the document, terming them premature and a serious misrepresentation of facts.
Akipewa kiti cha whip anafunga mkono na mnaye anasema, Mheshimiwa Rais, mimi sina la kufanya sababu watu wangu hawanisikii. That means you have lost touch with the people. Na kama you have lost touch with people, you have no mandate. Hauna hata haki ya kuongoza.
While distancing themselves from the issues raised by the senator, the leaders have expressed their confidence in the BBI document, which they say carries the promise of, among others, increased resource allocation to counties, the youth, women and persons with disabilities. The leaders have warned national leaders against making utterances that may balkanize the country, even as they called on the Jubilee Party top leadership to call for an immediate national meeting to discuss how to address the discord within the party. But Kang'ata seems to be getting support from the Meru senator, who claims the sentiments reflect the views of the majority.
When Kang'ata says BBI is bound to fail, number one, BBI will fail because of the reasons that we have tried to explain. One, it will be a protest vote against you because of the manner in which the affairs of the country have been managed, the pain that people have in their pockets, in their families, because of the economic hardships that face this country, and yet they came out thinking that because they are electing one of their own, things would be different.
For Channel 1 News, I'm Serfine, Achieng, Ouma. Now, John Cardinal Njue has stepped down as Archbishop of Nairobi Diocese after attaining 75 years. Pope Francis has accepted the decision, described as resignation under the Catholic canon law. Instead, Pope Francis has appointed Nairobi Auxiliary Bishop Reverend David Kamau as the Apostolic Administrator of Nairobi Archdiocese. Njue will remain in Nairobi and retain the title of Cardinal, but without administrative functions. Ben Chumba with more.
After attaining the age of 75 years, which is the mandatory retirement age for bishops, John Cardinal Njue tendered his resignation after serving Nairobi Archdiocese for about 13 years. In an acceptance letter of Cardinal Njue's resignation sent to the Kenya Conference of Catholic Bishops, Pope Francis appointed Bishop David Kamau as the Apostolic Administrator of Nairobi Archdiocese. Kamau has been serving in the Nairobi Archdiocese since 22nd December 1999, when he was appointed the Auxiliary Bishop of Nairobi. Cardinal Njue was born in 1944 in Kiriari village in Embu County, was appointed the Archbishop of Nairobi on 6 October 2007 by Pope Benedict XVI. Njue took over from the late Archbishop Ndigi Mwana Wanzeki, who retired in October 2007 after attaining the age of 75 years. During his career, Njue was elevated as Cardinal on 24th November 2007, becoming a member of the Sacred College of Cardinals. Cardinal Njue is the second Cardinal in the history of the country after Maurice Michael Cardinal Otunga. Retired Cardinal Njue served as the chairman of the Seminary Episcopal Commission for major seminaries in Kenya from 1987 to 1991. He also became the chairman of the Kenya Conference of Catholic Bishops from 1997 to 2003. After the resignation, Njue will remain in Nairobi and retain the title Cardinal, but without roles. Ben Chumba, reporting for Channel 1 News.
And we celebrate him for his long service, not just in the church, but to the country as well, and wish him all the best in his retirement. Now, moving on, the High Court has suspended Nairobi gubernatorial by-election set for February 18th, 2021, pending hearing of various court cases. Justice Anthony Mrima on Monday temporarily deferred the special gazette notice issued by IEBC calling for a by-election in February until the matter in court is heard and determined.
It was a big blow for the Nairobi gubernatorial aspirants after the High Court on Monday suspended Nairobi by-election exercise slated for 18th of next month. High Court Judge Justice Anthony Mrima suspended a gazette notice by IEBC that required all parties intending to participate shall be required to submit the list of persons nominated to the commission on or before January 11th, 2021 after listing its primaries. In the case, impeached Governor Mike Sonko moved to court challenging his removal, claiming that due process was not followed. Sonko was impeached last month by members of the Nairobi County Assembly, a decision which is later upheld by the Senate. The seat has attracted several aspirants, with the former Starehe MP Margaret Wanjiru being the latest to officially join the list. The former assistant minister is vying on a United Democratic Alliance Party ticket. Others who have thrown their hats in the ring include Jubilee's Dennis Waweru, Third Way Alliance's Miguna Miguna, and several independent candidates.
Now on to matters health. The striking nurses now maintain that they will not call off their strike until all their demands are met. The Kenya National Union of Nurses Secretary General Seth Panyako, who exclusively spoke to Channel 1, said it was unrealistic to ask the medics to resume duty under unfavorable working conditions. Panyako said most of their members have been exposed to the deadly COVID-19 disease in line of duty without any compensation for those who have lost their lives from the disease. This as the country's coronavirus positivity rate remained below the 5% mark 8 days in a row after 106 people tested positive for the virus from 3,315 samples tested in the last 24 hours. Purity Museo reports.
Unlike their counterparts in the healthcare sector, including doctors and clinical officers who took to the streets but within a short time returned to work after an agreement with the government, nurses say they will boycott duty for as long as it will take until their demands are met.
The reasons why we went out should be addressed before we go back to work, because if we don't do that, we'll be going back to work, and then after 1 to 3 months, we'll also be wanting to go out again.
Kenya National Union of Nurses Secretary General Seth Panyako says he will not be cowed to call off a strike that will only expose his members to a deadly COVID-19 disease.
We expect the risk allowance for nurses to be increased by 500% to make it 19,250. That's the minimum that we can accept. It should be more than that because of reasons which I may not be able to explain right now. We also want the completion of the collective bargaining agreement. And of crucial is the issue of compensation of the families, relatives and dependents of the nurses who have succumbed to COVID-19 and other ailments and even accidents.
The nurses and clinical officers that took to the streets on the 7th of December 2020 demanding better conditions, but the clinicians called off their strike on Christmas Eve after reaching an agreement with the government. The industrial action coming in the middle of a pandemic, with the country's coronavirus caseload rising to 96,908 Monday after 106 Kenyans tested positive for the disease from 3,315 samples screened. Kenya's coronavirus positivity rate has remained below 5% for 8 days in a row. In a statement released by the Minister of Health Monday, only 11 counties are affected, with Nairobi taking the lead with 87 cases, followed by Uasin Gishu with 5 cases. Kiambu recorded 3 cases, Busia, Kajiado and Mombasa 2 cases each, while Makueni, Kericho, Meru and Kilifi recorded single cases. One person succumbed to COVID-19 disease, while 184 recovered from the disease between Sunday and Monday, pushing the fatality and recovery cases to 1,686 and 79,257 respectively. 617 patients are currently admitted in various health facilities countrywide and 2,964 under the home-based care program. Purity Museo, Channel 1 News, Nairobi.
Right, and now just taking a look at some global news. Most of England's primary schools reopened on Monday amid a row over whether pupils should be returning with the current COVID-19 restrictions. This as dialysis patient Brian Pinker, who is 82 years old, was administered with Oxford AstraZeneca COVID-19 vaccine, becoming the first person to receive the vaccine.
A joint letter from education unions in England has called for a pause in reopening schools, accusing the government of creating chaos. Head teachers warned of a confusing picture, with some schools staying shut after union safety warnings. However, the Department for Education said closing should only be a last resort. Elsewhere, schools are to be ordered to stay at home amid a fresh COVID-19 lockdown, which will see schools remain closed to pupils until February. First Minister Nicola Sturgeon said new cabs would be introduced at midnight in a bid to contain the new, faster-spreading strain of the virus. New laws will require people to stay at home and work from home where possible. Places of worship are to be closed, group exercise banned, and schools will largely operate via online and remote learning until at least February.
And now coming back to the country, security officers have arrested 6 people suspected to be part of a gang that has been terrorizing locals. Narok South Deputy County Commissioner Felix Kisalu says the dreaded gang has been behind a spate of land grabbing and cattle raids in the area. This and more stories in news making headlines in the counties.
Police have arrested 6 people believed to be part of a ring that has terrorized locals in Narok South for long. Narok South Deputy County Commissioner Felix Kisalu said the gang has been spearheading land grabbing and cattle raids and had dug underground escape routes from their houses and erected night vigil centers in their hideouts.
Hili genge limekuwa pia likiendesha kampeni ya watu wavamie mashamba ya watu binafsi na waweze kuishi kwa nguvu. Hili genge pia limekuwa likipanga namna litazuia harakati za serikali za kulete kusafisha maneno ya mashamba katika area ya Loloipangi, Mbokishi na Oloishusho na Enakishomi.
Elsewhere, tension remains high in Kutulo sub-county of Manrura County following the alleged killing of a local by police officers. Residents in protest subsequently torched a police station, accusing the security officers of also injuring 2 other people.
Wakawasimamisha vijana, walitia amri, wakasimama, wakakaa, baadaye wakaanza kumchapa, kuwachapa, na wakaanza kuwafiatulia risasi. Mmoja akauawa pale.
While residents of Cape Karen in Eldoret town are calling for a probe on leaflets circulating in the area, allegedly asking non-locals to leave. The residents claim that the hate leaflets were meant to cause fear and disunity amongst communities living the area.
Tunakanusa hiyo maneno kwa sababu tuko pamoja. Hata penye tuko hapa, tuko kabila yote. Hakuna kabila imekosa hapa kwa sababu hapa ni town.
Meanwhile, the Kenya flag will be hosted outside the United Nations Security Council chamber on Monday night as Kenya officially begins its 2-year sit at the United Nations Security Council. According to the Minister of Foreign Affairs, the flag installation ceremony for incoming members will be held at the UN headquarters in New York. Timothy Kipnusu for Channel 1 News.
All right, the event has already been hosted at the UN Assembly, and we just apologize for that slight miss of facts on that report. Now, moving on to matters business, allow me now cross over to what has been shaping the news in the world of business. Kenya Railways has introduced night services in the Nairobi-Mombasa route to cater for increased demand as schools reopened countrywide. The new service, which will be operationalized today, will see 2 inter-county trains depart from Nairobi and Mombasa termini at 9 p.m. and arrive at their destinations at 3 a.m. However, passengers will have to wait at their respective termini for the curfew hours to elapse before proceeding with their journeys.
Traffic congestion and help learners get into their destinations on time, the Kenya Railways has expanded its services starting today. In a special back-to-school edition, the Mombasa-Nairobi Madaraka Express will get an additional train that will depart Mombasa and Nairobi termini at 9 p.m. and will make stopovers at various intermediate stations. The night train is expected to arrive at its end destination an hour before 4 a.m. when the curfew ends. To this end, the corporation is advising passengers to remain at their respective terminus until the curfew ends to continue with their journeys. In a bid to decongest the busy Mombasa road during the back-to-school period, the recently launched Nairobi commuter rail service will also receive an additional trip between Athi River and Nairobi Central Station. This also includes the commuter rail bus service, which transports customers to Westlands, Yaya Center and Upper Hill areas upon arrival in town every weekend. The corporation managing director Philip Mainga, in a statement to newsrooms, also said the frequency on the Nairobi-Nanyuki rail service will be increased to accommodate increased movements as learning activities start in earnest. This as a train on the Nairobi-Nanyuki rail line left the Nairobi terminus earlier today at 9 a.m. and will make a return trip tomorrow departing from Nanyuki at 9 a.m. with both trains making stopovers along the way. The Nairobi-Nanyuki rail passenger service, which was launched on December 11th, started by making a round trip weekly, departing on Fridays and making a return on Sundays. This was later revised during the festive season that saw increased trips as demand for the railway services grew.
And Kenya has been urged to increase its locust surveillance and control operations to prevent a possible invasion of new swarms of locusts from the neighboring countries of Somalia and Ethiopia. According to the surveillance report by the Food and Agriculture Organization, some countries in central and northern regions will be invaded by new locust swarms in a few weeks' time, as the hatchlings have been spotted along the country's borders.
On 21st December, immature swarms first arrived in the northeastern Kenya, where they were spotted in parts of Mandera, Wajir and East Marsabit. According to FAO, new swarms are also expected to invade more northern counties and many parts of central Kenya. This after sighting of mature swarms laying and hatching eggs have been confirmed in East Garowe in the neighboring Somalia. The scenario is also replicated in Ethiopia, where maturing swarms have started hatching. However, FAO says containment measures are in top gear in the Middle East, where the locust swarms are said to have originated from. In Yemen, where the swarms were first spotted before spreading to the Horn and east of Africa, scattered adults are still present in the Red Sea and the Gulf of Aden coast, with locust breeding currently being reported in Eritrea and Egypt. This as operations in Saudi Arabia are in top gear to control the spread of potential new swarms after mature swarms have been seen laying eggs. Late last year, the Food and Agriculture Organization said that the locusts destroyed 7% of crops that would have been harvested, and another 9% of pasture was also lost. However, both the government and FAO are confident that the new swarms that have invaded the counties of Lamu, Tana River, Garissa, Taita Taveta and Kilifi, and now threatening to invade central Kenya, will be easily contained, as the equipment and infrastructure used to contain the first swarms are still in place.
And now to the tourism sector. Recovery of the tourism and hospitality sector is pegged on the approval and release of a COVID-19 vaccine. Tourism and Hospitality Committee Chair at the Council of Governors, Samuel Tunai, has said. He added that the rollout of a vaccine will erase fears in international travels, opening up the sector for recovery by June this year.
Tourism and hospitality was highly impacted by the pandemic. Kenya's tourism sector lost about 81.8 billion shillings between March and September last year, which is about 50% of its average annual revenue. In early December, the Tourism Ministry said tourist arrivals through all points of entry to Kenya dropped by 72% to 470,971 in the first 10 months to October, compared to 1.72 million arrivals in the same period in 2019. Despite the reopening of the sector, fears of travel are still keeping tourist numbers low. Projects global passenger traffic will increase 62% in 2021, but will still be about 30% lower than pre-COVID times. Tourism stakeholders now say the COVID-19 vaccine is the key to regaining the confidence of international travelers.
So because of that, we know that the sector will slowly and progressively recover.
Our tourism industry needs to be kind of reboosted with that kind of one that the vaccine is coming in, and that also will boost people's confidence in coming back.
During such a period last year, Ashnil Mara Lodge would be full of tourists coming to enjoy the region's holiday attractions. But management says business has been seriously hit, with the business only surviving thanks to local tourists who have taken advantage of the reduced rates to visit.
The Ministry of Tourism as well needs to concentrate in this market as well. Let them not neglect it, because we over relied on international or foreigners to come take up these activities, and it has really affected us.
Betty Kiptum, Channel 1 Business.
And away from that report by Betty Kiptum, we're now crossing borders on matters business. Bitcoin's value has surged above $34,000 for the first time as the leading cryptocurrency continued to soar. The rise was attributed to interest from big investors seeking quick profit and online payments. This and more in our International Business Roundup.
During the rally in 2017, Bitcoin came close to breaking through the $20,000 level, only to hit extreme lows and fall below $3,300. It passed $19,000 in November last year before dropping sharply again. Some analysts think Bitcoin's value could rise even further as the US dollar drops further, which recently it has won growing support as a form of payment online, with PayPal among the most recent adopters of digital currencies. It put the gain this year at almost $5,000. Elsewhere, the United States casino giant MGM Resorts is looking to buy British gaming company Entain. The move is the latest attempt by a casino operator to move into the online gambling business. Many online gambling companies, by contrast, saw a boost during COVID-19 restrictions, prompting many casino owners to pivot their businesses towards online. Finally, a merger between Fiat Chrysler and France PSA Group faces its final hurdle as the two companies seek shareholder approval on Monday. The $52 billion deal, if approved, will create the world's fourth biggest car maker. The combined company, to be called Stellantis, will have 14 car brands under one roof, bringing together well-known brands such as Peugeot, Citroën, and Vauxhall, from PSA with Fiat, Jeep, Chrysler and Ferrari.
And the latest in the world of sport is that 50 Paralympic athletes will travel to Dubai for the first round of qualification for the Tokyo Paralympic Games. Agnes Oluoch, the National Paralympic Committee chairperson, has confirmed. Oluoch made the sentiments during a one-day national trial that was held today at Kasarani Stadium to select the squad that will feature in the qualification event.
Preparations for the upcoming Tokyo Paralympic Games qualifiers have kicked off as the National Paralympic Committee of Kenya held a national trial to select the team that will feature in the event next month. Being the first event for the committee after the outbreak of COVID-19, the committee is calling upon the government to offer financial support to facilitate the team in training camp.
I'm also calling upon well-wishers to come and support the para team so that they may make it to Japan, being that this is an event they've been waiting for the last 4 years and they've been training. So I'm kindly requesting that people to come upon and help.
Hatukupata support yoyote. Sisi wenyewe tulikuwa tunatarajia mazuri kutoka serikali, mambo ya fare, mambo ya accommodation. So ingawa ngumu kwetu hatukupata saidizi wote kwa sababu sisi wenyewe tulikuwa tunajitafutia fare ndio tufike mahali hapa.
Third and fourth rounds will be held in Tunisia and Morocco, respectively.
Because of this corona, we have just passed a lot of things, and I know I'll make it. I want to make it.
The people who are here are not fit, but we hope that with the continuous and opening of the training facilities and all these kind of things, we will improve and most probably we will do wonders.
Despite the many challenges that have come along with the coronavirus pandemic, the National Paralympic Committee of Kenya is optimistic that it is going to select a strong squad that will represent the country in the upcoming Grand Prix that will be held in Dubai starting 7th to 14th of next month. Reporting for Channel 1 Sports from Moi International Sports Center, Kasarani, my name is Frederick Mwoki.
Still staying with the local sports and news, Andre Kasambugo has been unveiled as the new head coach of Bandari FC. The 51-year-old former AFC Leopards and Rayon Sports tactician penned a 2-year deal with the Mombasa-based club. Mbungo will be deputized by former Gor Mahia FC assistant coach Patrick Odhiambo. On Sunday, the club announced the exit of long-serving assistant coach Nasoro Mwakoba and goalkeeper trainer Razak Siwa following expiry of their contracts. Mbugo's first assignment is expected to be against 11-time winners Tusker FC in the Football Kenya Federation FKF Premier League fixture.
Kiko vijana wengi wanachukuliwa nje na yenyewe haiko bora. Ikiwa bangi, ikiwa drugs, ikiwa sijui nini, ni muhimu sana tuwalete kwenye game, tuwapatie platforms za kufanya kazi kwa kusudi waache kwanza na hiyo mambo mengine yenye haiwezi kuwasaidia maishani yao.
Trying our best to maintain our boys, the players. They have been on salary. They have been practicing, though not in full scale. But now with the mergers on, they have come back in a strong way. You can see even their performance.
Ambayo tumejaribu kusukuma vile inavyowezekana. Tupate mkufunzi ambaye ataendeleza ile filosofi yetu ya timu kama Bandari ya kuendeleza vipaji ambavyo viko sana sana katika mkoa huu wetu.
Cristiano Ronaldo scored twice and created another goal as Juventus thrashed Udinese in Serie A. The win came after AC Milan ensured City rivals Inter Milan's stay at the top of Serie A was a brief one despite playing much of their win at Benevento with 10 men. Barcelona got back to winning ways as Lionel Messi returned to the side to set up the winning goal in a narrow victory over bottom side Huesca in La Liga.
Cristiano Ronaldo scored twice and created another goal as Juventus thrashed Udinese in Serie A just after 10-man AC Milan had defeated Benevento.
Lasagna pursues. De Paul is there! And a shock lead for Udinese in the 10th minute. Oh, VAR review. Use of the hand. And here, it's Cristiano Ronaldo after half an hour for Juventus. Chiesa running in behind here, and he's managed to slot it for number 2 early in the second half. Dybala protesting he was held. Juve continue pushing on with Ramsey. If he can get the final touch, has another bite of it here, and squeezes in a third. Juve with a chance to wrap it up here though. Cristiano Ronaldo, no mistake. Here's Molina, He's done well to pick his man out, and Zegala tucks it in.
Today marks only the third Serie A meeting then between these two clubs. The two previous ones came in the 2017-18 campaign when Benevento remarkably managed to take 4 points off Milan. It's Kessie to put Milan in front. And it was never in doubt. Deadly from the spot. Desperately trying to get up in support, and Kessie as well. It's good running that from Leao, and it was a misjudgment from Montipo, and Rafael Leao has scored a glorious goal. It's a thrilling goal on the counter-attack. And once again, it's a second goal for Milan.
In La Liga, Barcelona got back to winning ways as they celebrated the return of Lionel Messi with a narrow 1-0 win over Huesca.
And that's all we had lined up for you. And like I said, we do not take your viewership for granted. I appreciate your social media interaction. Baron Okeyo, Dandora Phase 5, you have been watching us. Roni Nicodemo, watching us from Suna West Sub-County. Baba Kioko, you're watching us from right here in Nairobi in Karen Estate. Paul Areba Okemwa, you created time to watch us from Likoni, Mombasa. Branda Keegan from Litein. And of course, Peter Ashuman, you're watching us from the borderline of Kenya, Ethiopia, and Somalia. And I can go on and on. We appreciate you creating time for us. Lillian Baya from Mombasa, Saidi, Peter, and of course, all of you who took time to watch the bulletin tonight and also share with us your thoughts and comments tonight. Thank you so much for that. And it's a wrap from us. We appreciate you. Have a lovely night. My name is Serfine Achieng Ouma, and our sign language interpreter has been Susan Dhuku.
Good evening. My name is Irene Mchuma Odem. Let's do weather on a night that the whole country is covered with partly cloudy conditions, and that is how it will be through to the early morning hours. We will wake up to sunny intervals across the country, right from the northeastern to the northwestern, the Lake Basin region, the western parts of the country, the capital and counties around the region, equally to the southeastern lowlands and the coastal strip. And in the afternoon, only a few areas will experience showers accompanied by thunderstorms, and these will affect areas of Bomet, Kericho, Kisumu, and Eldoret. The northern parts of the country, the southeastern lowlands, the coastal strip, and also the capital will continue to experience sunny intervals. This as Mandera records the highest temperatures across the country Tuesday at 36 degrees Celsius. The capital will experience highs of 27 and lows of 15 degrees Celsius. And for you in Mombasa and Voi, we are looking forward towards highs of 31 degrees Celsius. Let's now cross the borders and have a look at the international forecast. Do have a good night. See you tomorrow, God willing.
Vera Beauty College.
Vera Beauty and Fashion College, with branches in Nairobi, Eldoret, Thika, and Meru. Did you know that we are a TVET approved institution? We offer courses in fashion design, interior design in soft furnishing, event decoration, flower arrangement, event planning, hairdressing, barbering and dreadlocks, beauty therapy, makeup, nail technology, spa massages, teaching skills, TOT, solo business management, and many more. Register now and visit our website on www.verabeautycollege.com. You can also call on 0725 923 550 Nairobi branch, 0728 087 689 Eldoret branch, 0722 227428 Thika branch, 0725 000 706 Meru branch. Vera Beauty and Fashion College, a TVET approved institution.
Get ready for a 3 weeks Africa Football Feast as the new year kicks off with the 6th edition of the Africa Nations Championship in Cameroon. From the 16th of January to the 7th of February 2021, 16 teams from the continent will be spread across 3 cities as the best players from domestic leagues showcase their talents live on KBC Channel 1. Let's support our own.
Hello viewers, I greet you all in the name of Jesus Christ, Son of the living God. I'm Veronica Juguna Mrs. I love the Lord Jesus Christ as my personal Savior, and I'm from Deliverance Church Karagita in Nairobi. I want to give a message titled A True Friend. And my message today is from the book of 3 John. The book of John, 3 John, chapter 1, from verse 1. Dear friend, I pray that you may enjoy good health and that all may go well with you, even as your soul is getting along well. It gave me great joy to have some brothers come and tell about your faithfulness to the truth and how you continue to walk in the truth. I have no greater joy than to hear that my children are walking in the truth. Dear friend, you are faithful in what you are doing. For the brothers, even though they are strangers to you, they have told the church about your love. You will do well to send them on their way in a manner worthy of God. It was for the sake of the name that they went out, receiving no help from the pagans. We ought, therefore, to show hospitality to such men, so that we may work together for the truth. The Bible is talking about a true friend. John here is talking to the brethren at that time, to this brother called Gaius. He was a true friend, and he was being addressed in the Bible. You see somebody addressing someone as a true friend, that means this person is a true friend. And he was praying that they may enjoy good health, that all may go well with them. A good friend wishes the other well in everything that he does. A good friend wishes the other good health and that all may go well